Welcome to The Explainer. What if I told you that the single most common piece of sales advice, the one about building a strong relationship with your customer, is actually killing your deals? Well, today we're digging into a powerful strategy that says being agreeable might just be the biggest mistake you can make.
For decades, the mantra has been the same, right? Sales is all about the relationship. Build rapport, be their friend, and the business will naturally follow. But in today's world where everyone has information at their fingertips, what if that advice isn't just old? What if it's flat out wrong?
So to figure out what really works now, researchers went on a huge deep dive, and I mean huge. They analyzed thousands of sales professionals across 90 different companies, all to pinpoint exactly what the absolute best performers were doing that set them so far apart from everybody else. So what did they uncover? Well, it all starts by completely demolishing the biggest myth in sales. Here's the hard truth. Your customers don't need another friend. They're already drowning in data, product reviews, and pricing sheets. What they're really starving for isn't more rapport, it's insight. They are desperate for an expert who can walk in and teach them something new about their own business. And this chart just lays out that shift perfectly. We've moved from a world where just being liked was the main goal to a totally new reality where insight is the real currency. It's a fundamental shift from being agreeable to delivering real, tangible value. Okay, this is where things get really fascinating. The study found that every single salesperson, more or less, falls into one of 5 distinct profiles. Now, what's so interesting here is how these are distributed. You might expect one type to be way more common, but look at that. It's a pretty even split across the entire sales population. The challenger is the most common, yeah, but only by a little bit. And these profiles probably feel super familiar, right? You've got the hard worker, first in, last out, the relationship builder, who's all about that customer rapport, the lone wolf, who kind of breaks the rules but always seems to hit their number, the problem solver, who's a total star with customer service. And then there's the challenger, the one who loves to debate and push their customer to think differently. So, okay, we've got the 5 types, but here's the million-dollar question. If you ignore all the personalities and just look at the cold, hard performance data, does one of these profiles actually win more deals? And the results are, well, they're staggering. The challenger is the undisputed champion. They make up a whopping 39% of all high performers. And get this, in complex sales, the really big, messy deals, that number jumps to over 50%. Nobody else even comes close. But here is the absolute shocker. The one profile that sales leaders have always loved and promoted, the relationship builder, is the least likely to be a top performer. They account for a measly 7% of them. I mean, this finding just completely flips conventional sales wisdom on its head. This, of course, leads to the big question. What on earth makes these challengers so effective? What's their secret? Well, their success really boils down to a simple, repeatable framework that's built on 3 pillars. Number 1, they teach their customers something new and valuable. 2, they tailor that message so it really hits home with that specific customer. And 3, they aren't afraid to take control of the conversation, especially when it comes to price and value. So you see, a challenger isn't just trying to sell a product. Their main goal is to use their unique perspective to deliver a genuine insight, a real aha moment that changes how the customer thinks about their own business. The sale, well, that's just a natural byproduct of that incredible value exchange. Of those 3 pillars, that first one, the ability to teach, is by far the most important. It's the engine that drives the entire challenger approach, and there's a name for it, commercial teaching. This is the message that came through loud and clear from literally thousands of customers they surveyed. They're not just okay with being challenged, they are desperate for it. They want new ideas that will help them save money, make money, or avoid some kind of risk. And doing this right requires a fundamental change in your mindset. Instead of leading with your amazing solution, you teach the customer about a problem or an opportunity they hadn't even thought about. You lead them on this journey of discovery that, in the end, leads directly to your solution as the only logical answer. And that is commercial teaching in a nutshell. It is the art of the reframe. You use your unique insights to connect what a customer cares about to a bigger, more urgent problem, a problem that you happen to be uniquely equipped to solve. The conversation itself becomes the most valuable thing you're offering. Okay, so what does all of this actually mean for you? How can you take this and actually put it into practice in your very next conversation with a client? Here's the playbook, step by step. First, you start with a unique insight, not with your product. Second, you use that insight to completely reframe the customer's thinking. Third, you show them the real financial pain of doing nothing, which creates urgency. And only then, once you've done all that, do you connect it back to your solution. Ultimately, the goal isn't just to be different, it's to be valued for your difference. It is so much better to be a little provocative and memorable than it is to be perfectly pleasant and completely forgettable. And that's really the question this whole thing leaves us with. Look, it might feel uncomfortable at first to challenge your customers' thinking, but the data is undeniable. It's what separates the good from the great. So in your next meeting, what are you going to be? Agreeable or memorable? The choice is all yours.